Hi, hello. Please don't mind the bangs. They're in a cage right now. Don't worry about them. If I take them out, my hair's wet, so it'll look stupid. So, forehead reveal. Anyways, I was gonna make a whole video. I had a whole thought. I had a whole thing I wanted to talk about. Completely forgot what it was. I don't even know how I forgot that fast. I don't know where, when it's gone. It's like, pew, it left. But I'm just gonna talk about annoying things and dramas, and then we'll see if it comes back to me. Um, anyways, so I was watching one of my videos. This is what made me think of the elusive idea that I now can't remember. But I was watching one of my videos when I was talking about the show Love Next Door, which, by the way, I just got the thought back. Hallelujah. Oh my gosh. The way that I just had to talk about it and then I remembered. Okay, anyways, the thing I was originally going to talk about was if you watch a show, okay, you watch a show and you finish it and it's, 12 to 16 episodes. Potentially those episodes are over an hour. And you look at the show as a whole and you go, I could have watched the edits and I would have received a better piece of work than if I had sat through these 16 episodes, 16 hours, if not a little bit more if they're longer episodes than an hour. And that is the point that I want to make is if a show makes me feel like that afterwards, it is not worth it. And that is just a cold hard fact. Now, I have watched over 140 dramas. I've watched a lot of shows. Granted, I will say this, disclaimer, I have watched a few other Asian dramas. So I've watched a couple of Japanese dramas. I've watched a few Chinese dramas. I've watched a Thai drama. I have a couple other dramas, and they're all mixed up technically in my Korean drama review, and I count them as my shows. But as for Korean specifically shows I've seen at least 140. For other dramas altogether, I've seen about 150. So it's like it's like close. It's close enough. Okay, I put the time and effort into watching these shows. I'm gonna count it as 150 dramas that I've seen. Anyways, that's such a side note. Does have nothing to do with anything. Anyways, that is the thought process that I have after watching a show. If I have well, not every time, but if I have that thought process of I could have watched the edits and I would have been more enjoyable to watch the edits and not waste my time on the show, that is a very very bad thing. Sorry for the sniff, because I watched the show called Love Next Door. I talked about it extensively on YouTube, and that was actually part of the reason that I started making so many YouTube videos was because I'd review the episodes and talk about them. Because it also ticked me off so much that I had to make a video talking about it. But here's the thing. I watched that show, and I can confidently say I could have watched the edits and skipped the show, and I probably would have had about the same level of enjoyment. Because the edits of the show are great. The edits always make a show better. But if you'd rather watch an edit than the show, then it's like, where did the show go wrong, right? And another example of that unfortunate phenomenon is the show called Welcome to Semdori, which was this is a show that I mourn. I mourn this show because it could have been so much better. I loved the male lead. I loved the female lead, as in the actors. The characters kind of sucked a little bit. But the actors, honestly, two of my top actors. I love both of them. They're both so good. They both deliver. Here's the thing: the acting wasn't bad. There was nothing wrong with the acting. The acting was like probably the best part of the show. The story was so dang stupid and made me so mad, and had so many antagonists in it for no reason, and was so difficult at times to sit through because it was so ridiculous. If that's how I feel, and I watch a 30-second edit of the show and I go, oh my gosh, that was better than the entire show because I got to see all the perfect moments wrapped up into one little video and I didn't have to spend 16 hours watching a show and only getting 4 hours of enjoyment out of it because most of the show was just irritating. If that is the situation, I deserve compensation because I put too much time, too much effort, too much money into these streaming platforms to get a crappy show. And I sat for the longest time in this mindset of that K-dramas were superior TV. I still think that. But I have been so disappointed in the last 2-3 years. And I've talked about this so many times. But it is something that actually genuinely makes me upset. Because when I discovered K-dramas, I was like, holy cow. there's this whole subset of TV shows and movies that I've never seen in my life, but that I enjoy so much. And they give me all the right tropes, they give me all the right things I want, right? And then as time went on and as more and more drama started to come out, I was like, holy cow, these freaking suck. They're not good. They're either really, 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 really mid, like just so boring. There's like, it's just not interesting, right? Or they have stacked cast, stacked director, stacked, producer, but the plot is awful. And that, unfortunately, has become a bit more of a norm. And also, this isn't even really like, the thing is, I don't have an issue with the show that I'm just about to talk about, because I actually really liked this show, but I'm annoyed with the typical path it's going down. So there's this show called When the Phone Rings. I think I talked about like the first couple episodes in a couple YouTube videos ago. I haven't actually really updated on the show, but it's really good. I really like it. It's a good show. It's different. It's fresh. Whatever. However, it unfortunately is falling under the same annoying trope of a trope I've seen a million times. Basically, the climactic episode is, we don't know if the husband in the show dies. Oh no, what if he dies? Which I'm like, there's literally no way he's gonna die. He's gonna be alive. But also, even if he is alive, the presumed theory is that because of circumstances, he ends up like disappearing, and he was living under a fake identity, whatever, his whole thing. He's gonna like go find himself, go find his true self or whatever, something stupid like that. However, he's left his wife, who misses him desperately and loves him desperately, and yet he's just like, I gotta go find my true self. You can't come with me. You're gonna have to wait and be depressed. Well, like, are you actually kidding me? Why have I spent almost 12 hours watching this show, and you're telling me, oh, well, he's just gonna leave and then he's gonna come back? Because that's the theory. Because obviously he's not dead, because why would they do that? Also, watch me make a video tomorrow and be like, guess what, guys, he actually died. That would be insane. There's just like this unnecessary drama in the show that I'm just like, this isn't adding anything to the plot. This is actually boring. I'm so tired of shows that have to do with some kind of thriller aspect or some kind of like, what's the word? Climactic situation, always having to make the last like 2 episodes, but usually most of the last episode be the drama, the depression, the angst, all these things, the yearning, the longing, and then you get like 5 seconds of happiness. I'm sick of it. I'm so tired of shows that do that. And that's one of my other issues that I'm having with dramas, is like, why do you have to do this? One of the tropes that I also hate and have obviously always hated is miscommunication, misunderstandings. They're the bane of my existence, because they're the stupidest tropes to exist. And this isn't really, I don't actually know why I brought that up, because I'm not going to talk about that for a second, but I'm going to talk about something else. I'm going to go back to the show I was just talking about. It was When the Phone Rings, is what it's called. I already said that. Anyways, there's a scene. Here's what I want to, there's a lot of thoughts in my head. I was watching the most recent episode of the show when all this stuff goes down, and there's a scene where the characters act so insanely dumb, it's like aggravating, because they're so stupid. Like, they're doing things that any normal person would be like, I'm not gonna do. Why would I do that? Like, I would be smart and I would think, and I would not do that. But they like dumb their characters down for the plot twist, for the plot to get big in somewhere. They stupefy their characters and like make them dumb and make them do like out of character things that they wouldn't do, but they're only doing because it's literally the last episode and they have to get the ratings up. They have to get the everyone to watch it, because what's gonna happen? And it's like, not that I ever want a main character to die, but there have been times where it's almost like, hey, you want to be creative? Kill your freaking main character. If you're gonna keep teasing it and you're gonna keep doing that, why don't you just do it? Coward, like, just do it. Obviously, I don't want the main character to ever die, like, ever. But at the same time, I'm like, stop acting like you're gonna do something with that crazy, oh my gosh, did he die? And then, of course, nothing happens, and it's just the angst and the the turmoil that the watcher feels waiting for the next episode, which sometimes is a week, sometimes it's a cliffhanger, and then you just whatever. Thankfully, this episode, the next one and the last one, comes out tomorrow, so I don't have to wait a long time. But I was more just ticked off. I wasn't even like really like sad. I was just mad. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, why are we doing this? But on my call back to my miscommunication complaint and misunderstanding trope, I was talking about in one of my videos a long time ago. It was like a couple months ago because this was a while ago when the show first came out. I was talking about this show that I was watching called Love Next Door. And I was talking about how I'd watched the first 2 episodes. I was already making a almost 20-minute video ranting about a show that I had watched 2 episodes of. That should have been my red flag. That should have been my indication of, hey, don't watch this show. You're gonna just get ticked off. And lo and behold, I made like 7 videos talking about that show every time the new episodes would come out, because without fail, they would tick me off every time. And one of the big reasons they would tick me off was the miscommunication and the misunderstandings in that show. They took until like episode like 11 or 12, I think it was, maybe even further, to explain that the main female lead's boyfriend, and well, actually fiance, didn't cheat on her, and that she broke up with him out of, their breakup was like not a miscommunication, but just like it was a really emotional situation. It was like the reason was like not because he cheated. That wasn't the reason. He didn't cheat on her like at all. And she had, from the get-go, from the first 2 episodes, like I had mentioned in my video too, we thought she got cheated on. But it doesn't get revealed until literally so far into the plot that it's like, why are we doing this? And she wouldn't tell her family that she had been sick before. She wouldn't tell them all this. She just kept purposefully making them have misunderstandings, and there kept being miscommunications, and her and the male lead. I don't remember exactly if they had any misunderstandings, but I mean, I'm fairly certain they did, because that show was so bad, and also the ending was so underwhelming, and I can't believe I sat through that much of the show for that to be the ending. The way it ended was so unsatisfying. I was like actually so annoyed. I was like, this is how you're going to end your whole show. And I had said in my last review of the final episode, I said in the video, I said it felt like the end of an episode, not the end of a show. And that is the stance that I will stand by, because it didn't feel like the end of a show. I was like, that's how they're ending the show. It was so dumb. Sorry, the nose situation. But anyways, it's just, like I said, and the other show I was talking about of Welcome to Seminary, it was the same thing where it was just like, issue, happy, issue. It was like they were happy for like 1 episode, and it was like and it also in their case, it took them so long to get back together that it was like, are you actually kidding me? Like, it wasn't even, at that point, it wasn't even worth it, because they sorry, I was just reminiscing about how much I hated that show and how annoyed I am that I sat through it. And here's the thing. You could be like, Caitlin, this is literally your choice. You can stop watching. You have the freedom to stop watching. But I was like, here's the problem. You don't understand. I think I have FOMO when it comes to new dramas. Like, I often, unless the show is like I just wouldn't watch it, it's like not interesting to me in some context or whatever, I think I get FOMO, because I'm like, I'm gonna miss out on this great show. I'm gonna miss out on these great moments. Like, what if there's so many good moments? But then I find myself sitting through a 16-episode show where there are good moments, sure, but also 50 to 75% of the show is annoying. But there's like a good, maybe like 15-20% that's like really, really good, but then everything else is bad. And that class is how we come back to the big old trajectory of some shows are better as edits. And I have to get that in my head, I think, and just realize that, like, if I'm watching a show and I have so many more complaints than compliments, and I have way more issues with the show than I have like, oh, this is so good, I need to just drop it, and I need to stop. And here's the thing. I have dropped so many shows. I have dropped many shows. I have dropped countless shows. So it's not like I can't drop these shows. It's just, I think it's when the characters, or not the characters, when there's actors that I really like, I really want to stick it out. And I'm like, I really want to get this. And the thing with Welcome to Salvador was it was Ji Chang Wook's first, like, not his first romantic comedy, but like, or like romance. He's done romance before, but it was like supposed to be funny and lighthearted, and his character was, oh my gosh, I loved his character. That was the problem. I loved him. I really didn't like the female lead, and I felt bad because I was like, I just don't like women. But that's not true. She just wasn't that great, and she got better in the show, but she also just at the same time kind of wasn't. I love the actress. No hate to the actress at all. I love her. I've seen her in a couple shows. I've seen her in a movie. I loved her. I literally talked about her in my female leads that I liked. Like, she's been in, and she was in like two of my shows that I talked about. So I love her. But in that show, I couldn't stand her. Her mom, sucked a lot. The main male lead's dad, don't even get me started. The way he became the villain was insane. He literally wasn't even a problem for like 95% of the show. And then the last like couple episodes just threw him into the plot of being like the most toxic, controlling person I've ever seen. Also just like unreasonable. Like so insane. Like he went psycho. And I was like, sorry, what? What am I watching? I will never get over that show, throwing him as the villain, and then in one episode, or like not even one episode, but like in one conversation, in like a 2-minute conversation, they like ended it, and they were like, he's like, oh, it's fine, you guys can date, and I was like, they're 40. Why are you telling them that? Like, he's a grown man, let him date. That one will always actually tick me off. That one, I can't believe I finished. I actually can't believe I sat through and finished that drama because it was so bad. Not the whole thing, just the end. The certain episodes made me feel a sense of rage that I haven't felt in a while. Same with Love Next Door and The Mom. I haven't felt an anger like that watching the most irritating character I've ever seen on my screen. Actually, that's not true. Family by Choice, The Mom in Family by Choice is 100% worse. The problem is, though, she's supposed to be annoying. The mom in Love Next Door isn't supposed to be a bad mom, but she's just a bad mom. She's just like a terrible person and super annoying. Another thing I don't like, and this is just like, I just think it's stupid and I hate that shows do it. When there's a husband and wife in a show and they like low-key hate each other the whole show. And it's not that they're supposed, it's not like they have like, oh, a rocky marriage. It's not even supposed to be that. It's just like they literally just like hate each other. And they can't ever say anything nice about each other. And they're never nice to each other. Love Next Door. Hate it. Don't give it to me. I don't want it. Especially when one or the other is like so much better. Usually the dad. I don't know why. Like, it's like the whole dad trope of like the dad being a bad dad or whatever is like very popular. But also, I don't know what it is, but Korea knows how to make horrible mothers in shows. Because I've seen some dramas with horrible moms, and I was like sitting there like feeling like I needed to like punch a wall because I was like, you are so annoying and so, I can't even believe that you're supposed to be like, this is supposed to be like a real person. Also, I hate it when a show has had a character, not even necessarily just a mom, just a character that's been terrible the whole time. And then in like one episode, they suddenly get like a redemptive arc and you're like, okay, this doesn't even make sense. Like, why are you, oh, now you're a good person? Oh, okay, that took literally 11 episodes and now suddenly you're a good person. Again, the thing I'm talking, one of the shows, a great example I have is When the Phone Rings. Mom of the female lead is terrible. She's awful. We hate her. Then in the last like episode or two, she's like suddenly cares about her daughter. And I was like, oh, yeah, you didn't care about her when you were literally going to marry her to a literal horrible person that was known to be a horrible person. You didn't care about her then. I mean, now you care about her. Oh, okay. I was like, I swear if they try to give that woman a redemptive arc, I could not care less what happens to that. Like, to her or to any of the parents on this show. Like, I was like, I don't care. You all suck. You're all terrible people. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say. I just wish that shows were better. I just wish that they didn't fall under these same tropes that are overused and because it's like, here's the thing, I would love to watch a show where a character is in a situation and it's like there's an obvious choice, like there's an obvious choice of what they need to do, and then they actually do it. I'm always like, thank you. Like, this is small, but in shows where like the female lead has to do something like strenuous, it's like a survival show or some type of situation, she puts her hair up. She puts her hair up in a ponytail. She puts it up in a bun. I love that. It's realistic. Moana. Moana, she does that. I mean, her hair falls down like right away, but she puts her hair up in a bun. Another good example is Maze Runner, the first one. Teresa, they're going to fight the whatever skull. Oh, I can't remember what the Grievers. There we go, the Grievers, the creepy monster thingamabobbies. She puts her hair up, like, realistic. It's just like something so small that shows that the director was like, oh, realistic girl moment, if or guy, or if it was a guy and he had long hair and he put his hair up. I think there's a scene, I feel like I've seen a Jason Momoa scene, maybe it was like in real life that he put his hair up, I don't know, he put his hair up in like a bun or something, but I feel like I've seen another one where a guy had long hair and he put his hair up, and it's like, I know that's so small, but I always appreciate when shows will like think logically about a situation. It's like, yes, it's such a small scene. It doesn't, to most people, they probably wouldn't think anything of it. But to people who are like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yes, I put my hair up too. It makes the character feel more real. And when characters do things that make them feel real, you're always like, okay, finally, relatable character. Someone who I actually am like, yeah, I would do the same thing type of thing, you know? It's a very small thing, but it just bothers me in shows. Tell me you don't know how to write women without telling me. Like, I've had this whole discussion about how it seems like dramas these days, especially like a couple of recent years, just don't know how to write likable women. Have you just never met a woman in your life? Like, literally, have you just never met a woman? Do you just not know how women are? Like, they're great. Women are great. So like, why can't you write a good one? It's your job. Okay. I'm about to Whoa. I was about to say, I'm gonna put my retainer in and then I'm gonna end this video. So. Okay, bye.